What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it with another reaction. Hey, fantastic hip hop's got theories here. How Kendrick secretly confirmed another album will drop soon in the Luther video. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Man, I've seen several different theories. So there was somebody who was talking about the meme where it was like death going to each door, and they was trying to say the part with SZA was about that and the fact that that door number was 6, and they was trying to say, that was a whole Drake thing. Then I was seeing some stuff in regards to how this may be prepping for a GNX Deluxe edition. Basically, there may be a storyline because of the where it was shot seemed like a continuation of the smaller video that he did before on a song that we still haven't heard on the album. So either there's a deluxe edition or something in regards to that. So I'm curious to see, what they're thinking. What did y'all see? I found out it was a shot at Canada. And even in the music video, the reaction video, I was just like, I don't think that it is, but it would be funny if it was. So I was open to it not being in Canada, but I want to go to LA again just to be able to go to that place because I've been to LA. I haven't been everywhere in LA, but I do not remember seeing that anywhere. So I wonder if it was a recent build. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this now.
Now, currently with Kendrick Lamar and his Luther music video, really with all of the subliminal messages and details that are being uncovered within this latest work from the current king of hip hop, this thing could really be an entire movie with everything that needs to be discussed here. And now, seemingly, what is most important about what Kendrick has just given us are the details that are seemingly telling us that this video is much more than just a victory lap for Kendrick, SZA, and this smash record. And really, it's not
They
just
got
any
this
ordinary music
tour.
video. It's a preview and really sequel to the first GNX trailer, which is telling us where this era and album is going from here, with what will end up becoming an entire new collection of music from Kendrick. And now, before we go any further into what's really going on here, and how we know Kendrick is trying to tell us something very important, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and as we are right around the corner from Kendrick Lamar creating one of the biggest moments in hip-hop history with his tour and also more music, really be sure to leave that like. And so now, with that said, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and what's going on, it really has never seemed like a better time to be a Kendrick Lamar fan, because both for what he has revealed in this actual video itself, and beyond all the speculation, what we know Kendrick has really been doing within the industry outside of what he has given us here. We do know for sure that Kendrick is more locked in than ever right now, and he is still working on new music, and so at the very least in this moment, before we even try and get into the actual clues, with both music videos and comments about songs that nobody has heard but that other artists who worked on the first GNX record worked on, we do know that Kendrick already has more music ready to go before his tour even starts. And the question we really need to figure out what this is that with all of this noise and that with Kendrick working, what exactly is he about to release next? And
Well, a lot of people are saying it's deluxe, which would be interesting because it's just the GNX album isn't like it's not my favorite Kendrick album, but it is dope. But with all of the buildup, where it's arrived in his career, everything that he's been able to recently do within this year plus more recently, because the thing he's been doing dope stuff. I think that's what has always confused me about people's criticism for Kendrick. I'm just all like, okay, maybe he didn't drop something, but he was doing crazy performances, like legendary performances during those times, and maybe torn and different things like that. So I don't know, the idea that he's just not working is interesting to me. But seeing the build up, the potential of this being a story, I haven't seen so much emphasis put into an album, especially recent, pretty much ever. You know, some people do roll out, some people do certain things, but well, what Kendrick is doing with GNX is it reminds me of kind of like some of the marketing, like some of the older Kanye stuff would be like Jesus, what else? My Twisted Dark Fantasy, like him having these short films and everything that went into it. Those are the vibes that this is giving, but he's taking it to another level to where it's just like, okay, he could have just dropped the project. Okay. For one, the project was random. Like it wasn't random in the sense that um people didn't assume that something was on the way because a lot of people felt like, oh, that's why he was, doing the beef because he's got an album on the way type of thing. I no. I think it was random because at the time, like people was expecting it, but it was random as far as the cohesion and what is trying to be told within this album. Because when I heard it the first time, a part of me could be like, oh, well, it seemed rushed. It seemed like all these are brand new or, different things like that. But seeing the visual aspect that he's been putting out when it comes to the teasers, when it comes to stuff within the music videos, and just the expansion that he's doing with this album, to me, I'm just taking notes because I think that this is such a dope way to execute a project, especially in 2025, especially when people are just like, oh, let me just throw the album. Maybe you do a little bit of controversy to help push the sales or like, just something other than actually diving into art. And he's using art to promote his art at a masterful level, fire.
More than that, how everything in terms of the clues and messages he left within this Luther video fit into everything he wants us to know for what's about to come from his vision. And so now, of course, with this latest genre-stopping moment that Kendrick has delivered, this Luther video is really the key to it all, and it has given us more to talk about and uncover than the near entirety of what every other rapper has put out musically this year, because of course, in typical Kendrick Lamar fashion, and more than ever on the run we are seeing from him right now, the presentation and storytelling is not just more interesting than what other rappers are doing in their music, but honestly, this is such a well-directed video, it's more interesting than most movies coming out right now as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, in the entire GNX era from Kendrick Lamar, when we look at this story he has been giving us more and more of with the visuals, this one that we got really seems like it's going to end up being just as important, if not more, than the album's trailer, because once again, the main spot that Luther was filmed in is the same place that we have seen from that trailer, and from the way we see this location get expanded on here, and once again see that visual symbol and icon of the GNX used to tell us what's going to happen, what we do know for sure about this is that this is now the fourth time we have officially seen the GNX car released in an official interview, video, or performance from Kendrick Lamar, and again, as the last time we saw this car, we were teased an album without even knowing it, then we got that album, and then we saw the biggest hip-hop performance ever at the Super Bowl. I mean, just going off that, whenever we see the GNX car out here, literally the entire genre of hip-hop ends up shifting, and we end up seeing a massive moment that just changes everything. And from the fact that we are facing it like this, and then even more than just seeing the GNX, which is something we did see at the Super Bowl, beyond that, we are back in the original location where the trailer is from, but we are seeing much more of what was going on there. I mean, honestly, what it seems like Kendrick is doing with this room and the constant motif of the GNX is creating the same narrative structure that we saw on a record like T-Pab within a visual way, where we are understanding more with the more videos we get instead of just going further through the track list. And within this revolving door of sorts with the GNX car, the most telling part and what is really...
Which is a super dope because an artist or group of artists that do this well that I've recently seen is XG. They're a super dope group. If you look through my page, you'll see a bunch of reactions. I got a playlist of it. But the cohesion as far as within tracks, the storytelling that is being told with each track, I definitely get that as far as with GNX, which is dope. Again, instead of it just being, all right, here's the tracks, because he could have did that. But everything else that he's doing on top of it, it just makes, like, for me, I'm just like, this makes hip hop fun. This makes hip hop interesting. You know, to I know some people are just like that's their biggest criticism sometimes. Oh, I don't want to sit there and think. Well, that's your fault. Damn it. Like I have a brain. I want to be able to use it. And when there's some cool stuff like this where that makes you think and ponder, to me, that's not a bad thing. That means that it's a great piece of art. You know, does it mean that, you know, it's not great if it doesn't make you do it? No, I'm not saying that. I just know for me personally, as a preference when it comes to music and things like that, yeah, you can listen to stuff as far as for a vibe and everything like that, to where you ain't really got to think about it. But I'm not just a fan, but as a rapper myself, I look at certain things that just create a spark. And I don't see whether it be the indie, whether it be the commercial, taking this much like this being able to put this much effort into a project. There's obviously something he's trying to say. He wouldn't just be doing this just because it is a album. It is what the album represents. It's what the album's saying that makes this so much dope. Because I have not sat down to fully, like, I've heard GNX, couple run throughs, you know, but I haven't sat down with it yet. And that's the thing with some of his older stuff, I would just sit down with it. I think it was the period of time of life that I was in, but you can be able to really dive into it. So doing this with GNX would be dope. But like I said, I get inspired by this because it's just all like there's other rappers that try to do the most. Even when I'm seeing certain artists like bring back feuds and stuff, like I'm seeing Ja Rule and 50 Cent, you know, now going back at him, just all like, yo, what is going on? You know, I want to see some dope hip hop. I want to be into the music, and I don't want to think that in the future this is just the peak of what hip hop's able to do, you know. And if it is, but when I see the stuff that Kendrick's doing and a couple other artists, I'm just like, no, you just gotta push through, you know. So
going to be the most important thing of this entire video, I think, as it really also just opened up one of the most interesting mystery boxes in all of rap in terms of what Kendrick is about to pull off, is the detail where we are able to see the GNX in the background with a red cover over it. And I mean, while everyone is trying to figure out what this exactly means, and why Kendrick Lamar was pointing and doing the thing that he did here as well, which again, just this one small detail is requiring more thought than the entire output of what hip-hop has given us this year so far. I think while everybody is trying to figure this out, and realistically we don't know exactly what Kendrick is trying to say, I think whatever the message really is, he is trying to let us know here, which, just to reference back to past work, is something we saw in the Family Ties music video, and that of course ended up starting the entire Mr. Morale era, and then of course with the car and the color red over it itself. Overall, it really seems like with this cover, the color, and what we see Kendrick do, which again, it's also important to note that Kendrick is in the exact same outfit that he was in the first GNX trailer, or at least it looks like that, is that he is switching gears and there is some shift happening that is going to reposition and expand how we perceive this record as a whole. And now whatever this is revealing is most likely going to be a continuation but shift for what this era has given us, and really what this makes it seem like is that Kendrick is going to be giving us a GNX2, a deluxe version, a side B, or whatever else you want to call it. Because when you look at the switch that Kendrick is trying to make with this color red here, which really does seem like the ultimate turning point, because when you look at the colors that have defined GNX in this era so far, the primary color has really been blue, which has been symbolized by all of Kendrick's outfits and hats, whether that's from the Super Bowl, Squabble Up, or just from the trailers and releases he has been putting out. And so all of the sudden, this color being added into the mix of the visual identity for this record, it really does have to mean something. And even taking things a level beyond that, Aside from a new color, there are so many other aspects in this video that represent a shift, change, and expansion of what we already have seen and know, and this is made very clear from multiple signals that are left in the video for whatever reason, which again, you can clearly see this symbolized from the real changes which you can see throughout multiple different moments in the video, to even just parts of this when we see this GNX trailer room expand and open up from different angles and understand and see parts that we couldn't see before. And again,
before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Yeah, these are not singles, these are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase, all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out, because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, that's true. That's true. The red aspect, that's something that I have not heard yet. So that when he said that, something went on. I was like, you know what? But again, a big theme that Kendrick has been doing has been uniting as far as blue and the red. So that may be aspect. The red, I mean, symbolizes, blood, not just the game, but like literally our blood. So whether blood spilled or like the blood of hip hop pumping you through, like there's so many different ways, but I'll leave the full video for y'all to check it out. But my thoughts all in all as far as with this is, do I think that we're getting a GNX Deluxe versus a whole new project in general? I mean, I can see that, and I can see why that would hit. I don't think that we need a new project away from GNX yet. I think, the fact he still has the tour, the fact, all these different things, I think that being able to add all this together and have, a GNX extended or different things like that, would be dope. Would be dope. And go through the tour, everything like that. Like, he's on a legendary run right now, and I can't even fathom what the next project outside of anything GNX related could be. You know, it's it's just crazy looking at. I'm just sitting up there like, dang. And a lot of people will start from like that and be like, oh, this was the thing. But honestly, really taking it from Mr. Morale and that tour, and then kind of getting into like that and everything that we're seeing to right now. That's my personal opinion as far as with it. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. I'm back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.